Hello, hello. I am still trying to get some things set up. I've got to give a fair warning today. I'm going to sound gross. It's one of those days where I'm just, like, I've got this stuffy nose and it's like leaking. So I'm going to try to not make any gross sounds when I'm on the mic. But, some might still slip through. But I'm going to try. Like that one, for instance. So, we are returning to Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery. Oh wait, it needs the arrows. Wait. I wonder if I can, hang on. Because using the actual arrows to turn the camera kind of sucks. Is there a way I can, No, you can't change the controls. That's kind of lame. Okay, so let's do a bit of a recap from last week. So let me go over here. Okay, so to start from the beginning, we are sent on a case to find out what happened to a lost museum artifact and to solve a murder that happened over in this room. Yesterday, I didn't really talk to a lot of the NPCs, so that's why what we're going to do today. We're going to talk to everyone that's involved. We already spoke to these two, though. This is the museum curator, and this is the guard. According to them, the scuffle happened on the second floor. They heard a gunshot, and they were both here to hear it. Now, assumingly, the conflict had happened here. The victim had gone over all the way to this room. And had fallen over this ledge onto the exhibit below. Now, the victim had taken with them a moai head. And, let me see if I can get to him really quick. Here is the victim. So, apparently, what killed him was not the fall. It was the bullet wounds on the back of their head. So, they probably died on the second floor, tumbled down, smashed the exhibit, and escaped. That's what we're looking at so far. Of course, we have to put the clues together to find out if that's exactly what happened. And the stolen exhibit, what was it, a gem? Yes, a gemstone. Okay. And these are the pieces of the moai head, and we have the rest of it over here. And we can't... No, we can't re-examine it. Well, anyway, this was the bullet. Excuse me. Anyway, this was the bullet that was in this thing. So, now that we have all that covered, we are going to start talking to the rest of the persons that were around. We're going to talk to this person, and I'll probably cover everyone that's on the first floor, and then get around to everyone on the second floor. The podcaster. He, detective, I just want to say it's like so awesome to meet a real, almost somewhat famous Philadelphia investigator in person. That was a lot. That was a lot to say. Oh my god. Oh, and I absolutely cannot wait to tell you all about my show. Would you be willing to do an interview? I'm sorry, your show. I'm a true crime podcaster. It's called Tales of the Dark and Desperate. And this episode is about to go hella viral. Wait. Are you recording right now? No, I didn't bring my equipment. Ugh. What an absolutely rookie mistake. Like 5 listeners an episode level amateur. Hey, I take offense to that. By the way, you should seriously subscribe. You have your phone on you, right? Just let me look myself up and hit the button really quick. No big deal. Yeah, you know what, viewer, she has a point. You're probably watching me right now. Subscribe. I actually don't keep a mobile phone on me. Personal technology would be a distraction at the crime scene. Oof, that's actually so sad. Okay, we have things to discuss. Let's stay on topic, please. Like, whatever you need, detective. Okay, so before we find out more about our podcaster, let's talk about today's events. Alright, what happened? Oh my gosh, I remember it so vividly. If only I was recording. My audience really likes authentic audio. Oh. That gunshot would get me so many upvotes. Blammo! That's when things really popped off, you know? I couldn't really see much up there though, and when the guard ran through, he and the tourists were so frantically scattered, I like pretty much tuned them out. Besides, we all heard glass break in the next room over, and I needed to get a first-hand account of things. Fame isn't for the fawn-hearted, detective. Hey, I'm Mimi, welcome to the stream. I ran from the courtyard and saw the punk lying there. It seemed like he fell from the balcony. Oh, so she wasn't present to see him die. Okay. I think I misunderstood, something. I rushed over to check on him, but he was so dead. And what's of the diamond? It was already gone. I explained that to the guard when he came in. Then I guess he went off to search for it someplace else. Excuse me, hang on. I told you, I'm going to be in and out, like, all stream. My nose is just... it's terrible. Every time I stream, it's like a curse or something like that. Every time I stream, something has to happen. Ugh. Alright. I figured, with the alarm going off, I wouldn't be able to leave anyway, so I just sat tight and waited in here. That's actually intelligent, if not really for the alarm, but for the sake that she could, like, give a testimony. Okay. I think I have some follow-up questions. Only if you subscribe. Ha, just kidding. You mentioned he had already fallen from the balcony above. Did you do any closer examination than that? Why do you ask? The thing is, he didn't have anything on him. Not even a wallet, no ID. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Oh, Detective, that's because I gathered them for you. Ahead of time. So you wouldn't miss anything. Is that so? Tampering with a crime scene can be a serious offense, you know. But it wasn't tampering. It was assisting. I know about a standard procedure, so I just went ahead and did it for you. That's all it was, huh? Lying to an authority of the law is also quite an offense. Okay, I took his stuff because it would have been amazing promo material. You can't blame me for trying to fabricate a viral sensation, Detective. And besides, what if you had been stabbed? And I needed to stop the bleeding? That logic doesn't even... You know what? I've got other things to discuss with you, and then I'll be on my way. Wait, I kind of want the stuff. Okay. Huh. He said you both entered the exhibit simultaneously, but this contradicts your testimony. Why the inconsistency? I don't know what you want me to say, Detective. I told you everything I know already. I came in, saw the diamond was gone, took a quick look over the body, and the guard came running after. If I was gonna lie, wouldn't it make more sense for me to agree with the guard at admitting to having no witnesses? Huh. I suppose you're right. So, the diamond was really missing when you arrived? Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll ask him different questions. I was mostly just wandering around, but when I got to the courtyard, I saw the tourists had this dope retro camera. We were just kind of going back and forth in old school photography techniques. Stuff like that was huge on Finstagram a couple years ago. Then we got interrupted by that argument. He handed me the camera while he tried to break it up from down here, but they weren't interested in listening. I see. I assume you gave the camera back to him at some point, yes? Oh yeah, for sure. But not right away, because things really started getting out of control. Oh, in that case, I have more questions. Huh. So according to her, she was present ahead of time of the guard, whereas the guard said that they were here simultaneously. We'll go talk to him after this and see if we can use this contradiction to try and pry some more information out of him. Alright. Now, the personal questions. Oh, come on, Detective. I told you about my podcast, or as in you didn't go and read my bio. If you're not a big reader, watch my daily vlog. That'll give you the general vibe. Well, it was going to be daily. Then it was weekly, but now I just kind of post whatever. The last one is pretty old, so it'll be out of date, but apologies, but I'm not going to watch your vlog. So please, if you could provide a brief answer to the question, that would be appreciated. Rude. The least you could do is submit your questions to my word vlog. You can do it anonymously if you want. I'm sorry, but isn't a vlog just a video blog? So a word vlog is a normal blog. Actually, never mind. I've learned plenty. Let's change topics. I have a true crime podcast called Tales of the Dark and Desperate. So make sure to totally obliterate that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Wait, haven't I told you about this already? You have. I was asking more about what you do in a professional sense. Are you trying to say that what I do isn't professional enough? Ha! Gotcha. I work at a coffee shop, but that's like so boring. Punch in, punch out, you know how it is. But after this episode absolutely pops off, I'm gonna quit so fast. Or at least, like, quiet quit. I still need health insurance or whatever. Of course. Why don't we talk about something else then? You have quite a passionate interest. Why is that? Oh, I know a trick question when I hear one, detective. Of course I love crime. Crime solving. Crime solving. Do you have a background in criminology? That sounds like a question I can only answer. Behind the paywall. Did you know you can unlock great perks like this on my page? That's won't be necessary. By the long paw of the law, let's stay on topic. Oh, you know, true crime is trendy. Wait, I'm sorry, hang on. Oh, man. In all honesty, I'm pretty normal, and my life has been, like, pretty easy. There's people out there that have definitely not have it easy. Trying to step into the shoes of a criminal is one thing, but thinking about everything around them, that's different. It's just easy to think this wouldn't happen to me unless it does. True crime lets you really reflect on unrealistic situations that are very real. That's actually quite insightful. If you want to know more, make sure to wickedly whack that. At least she's committed to the bed. Okay, I think we're done with her. So let's go visit the guard. I guess we don't get to contradict him yet. I worked as a policeman for a while, but not as long as was expected at the time. You certainly don't look like you've reached retirement age. Young for retirement, sure, but not that young. Most folks stay in the field for a long time. Wasn't for me, though. I grew up with police dramas, and was big enough to deal with bullies, but the concept of bullies is a bit more difficult when you're an adult. Nail on the head, detective. Don't get me wrong, there were times when it was very clear, just not always. Even instances that were clear in the beginning became murky down the road, or in retrospect. Eventually parting ways with the force seemed like the best decision. I came to that conclusion sometime later. Hey, agreed. Welcome to the stream. By that, you mean it wasn't entirely your choice. A highly encouraged choice, perhaps. A tale that isn't too uncommon, I think. Alright, let me see. No, we're totally done with this guy. I don't think we had to cross-examine the curator. Yeah, I thought so. Curator? Curator. Curator. Ugh. I told you, I'm gonna sound weird. Okay, so, the podcaster had mentioned the tourist, so let's go talk to him. Howdy doody, Detective Rooney. Oh god, he's awful. I can't believe I even had to read that. Ugh. Please, call me Detective. I'm the investigator on this case. How are you holding up with the commotion? Just tippy-topper, investigopper. Oh my god, he's cringy. Oh man, okay. Little worried I'm getting behind on my itinerary, but I'll survive. An itinerary? Are you on vacation? You dang bet I am. A nice long trip, like I always wanted to. It just wasn't in the dealer's deck until recent. Call me a regular tourist, because I know you gotta plan every stop. You know what they be saying, Detective. Hang on. Alright. Failing to plan is like planning to have a good time getting lost. I think we should get to the topic at hand, don't you? Okay, so let's see what happened on this person's point of view. A whole lot, if you ask me. Well, I guess you are asking me, aren't you? But much of it I wasn't privy to. Those two upstairs were in a bit of a brawl, and one of them shot a gun. Instinctually, I stepped in front of the podcaster, but luckily I don't think anyone actually got hit. That was when we heard some glass smash in the other room, and the museum's alarm started blaring. Wait, that's interesting actually. Because the curator made it sound like that when the glass broke, the alarm doesn't go off until afterwards the gate comes down. So that's interesting. So that also means that since the alarm went off, the security system doesn't go off unless it's someone that it recognizes. And since it started going off, it did not recognize the person. So that's interesting. Didn't think this sort of thing could still rile me up, but in that moment I must have been sweating something fierce, like someone splashed my back with a pail of water. I tried to tell the gal to save her own fur, but I don't know. Maybe she was more invested than she let on, and I wasn't going to carry her out. When I got to the foyer, the artist was already arguing with the curator about letting us out. I guess the alarm put everything in total lockdown. And I don't blame a single feather on them. They didn't know what was what. They just told us to stand by and wait for the police. Not my favorite gang to deal with, but I sat tight, and that's about all she wrote. Understood. But I have some questions. Let me tell you, most of the same I'm doing right now. Standing on my own two hooves, gazing in all these colors. At least until a podcaster came on through and started asking about my camera. They called it such an old school vibe. What about it she was interested in? I don't know. But she was mighty excited. I let her look it over, because I didn't see much harm in that. I took my eyes off it when the argument upstairs started becoming an issue. But she didn't seem shady or nothing. That's when things really started to kick off. Is that so? Let's discuss it further then. Oh, this old thing? It's been my trusty companion for ages. Been through some bumps and bruises, but none the good buff can't fix. Had a hearty crash today, didn't we, buddy? You didn't mention that in your testimony. What happened? Didn't I? I told you I let the podcast look over it, right? When everything started to go sideways, the gunshot probably spooked her, and she dropped it. A real clatter, too. Second biggest of the day, maybe? I don't want to ignore the obvious issue here. So, why do you have a camera in here anyways? Surely the museum's policies would forbid it. Oh, don't worry, detective. I had it all cleared with the curator. They said it was fine as long as I didn't take any photos. There isn't even any film in here. I guess that makes sense. I think I have a few more talking points if you wouldn't mind. Alright, let me see. Personal questions, we're just gonna blaze through them. Nowadays, not much. All I do is some odd jobs when I get back from this big old vacation. Past that, no more grind for me. Hang on. Continuing. That's a fortunate position to find yourself in. How do you manage that? That's a tough one, cat detective. Long story short, my pops was into some particular business. At least until he died. I was a teenager then, and my brother was even younger, so fending for ourselves wasn't much an option. Luckily, Pop's work buddies took us in. But when I got a bit older, I took over the operation he left behind. Decade later, we landed a pretty profitable contract, and the rest is history. I see. Did your brother follow along as well? Muddy heavens, no. In fact, that's what kept my eye on the truffle. I didn't want him to get involved. That's admirable. Why don't we talk about something else now? Now that's a story. I bet you don't want me to spare even the tiniest detail. Don't be afraid to abridge slightly if necessary. I'm just yanking your tail. Thing is, there's not much to say. I was a poor piglet, told to pick himself up from his bootstraps, and I don't even wear boots. All told, I worked hard, but it was a couple lucky decisions and better company. Right places and left times, you know? I'm nothing if not a storyteller, and a good one at that. But I wouldn't want to put you into a catnap with the details, detective. No manner of details would be enough to distract from the fact that you refused to answer the question. Or did you truly think I wouldn't realize? Look, Whiskers, simply put, some of those crowds weren't the most savory, but folks with deep pockets. Pops put us into some circumstances that went off and oinked. It forced me into decisions I don't like having made. All that's important to know now is, well, I got more curls on my tail these days. Wouldn't make those choices again if I had to. I won't press the issue now, but I hope you understand that if I have a reason to suspect its relevance, I won't have much choice. Oh, I get it. Don't sound so stern, detective. If you think I'm running for something, or into another, rest assured, the worst of it already comes with me everywhere. I've gone by a lot of names, detective, but what you see is what you get. Just an old free spirit flying through the back half of life. That sounds quite nice, actually. Are you flying with any family? Oh, you really are good at this, are you? You always know what to ask. Of course I've got family. Little brother and his sty of piglets. Dear me, does their mother have her hooves full with them? She's practically a sister to me, too. You said you're traveling. Is it difficult to be away from them? It stings the soul, that's for sure. But I try to send a postcard every couple of days, and I've collected far too many souvenirs for them. When our pop would go on business trips, he'd always bring little baubles back with him. So you know I gotta keep the tradition alive. I'm sure the kids love that too. Let's move on with something else now. Alright, I think we exhausted everything. Yeah, I see all the things. I'll get to that. I want to talk to everyone first before we start putting stuff together. In fact, hang on. I'm going to go on a small intermission. I will be right back. It'll be like a quick minute. Okay. I'm really sorry about that. I've got to update the intermission screen one of these days. I use it so rarely that I feel like it's not necessary. Whoops. Okay, let me see. Hang on, where's the map? Here we go. I think there was someone here. I noticed a couple guys up here. Yeah, here we go. The student. Greetings. I'm the detective from Feline Forensics. Well, don't let me get in your way. Oh, I'm actually here for you. What? I'm innocent, I swear. I meant I'm here to talk to you. Some simple questions, really. There's no need to be so nervous. Unless you have a reason to be nervous. Oh no, I was just making a joke. Trying to break the tension. I've been told I am very dry, so please accept my apologies. It's okay, I accept. Thank you for questioning me, and please go about your duties. I will stay out of your way. I appreciate that, thank you. If I have any... wait, I haven't asked any questions yet. Ah, rats, I didn't think you'd realize. Fine, go ahead. Is that important? I don't think it is. Let's not do that. What? What do you mean is that important? That's the whole reason why we're all here, is because of what happened. I need everyone's point of view. What do you mean it's not important? What are you a student of? Alright, what happened? I couldn't tell what it was about, but I heard the argument upstairs was beginning to get physical. Bad things just kinda happen randomly nowadays, and better to not make any chances, you know? I got to the foyer, but that's when my suspicions were solidified. The sound of a gunshot. I pounced towards the door, and as I reached for the handle, the place went into total lockdown. I was scared, Detective. I felt cornered. Trapped. I did the only thing I could think of. I retreated into the sculpture gallery to hide until things calmed down. I almost knocked over one of the sculptures in my haste. Thankfully, it wasn't too long until everything seemed under control again. As in control as it could be, I suppose. Let's change the topic then. What were you doing? How far back should I go? I came in a few hours ago, and started going through a few exhibits. You can skip ahead slightly. Right, of course. Well, I got to the natural history exhibit after a bit, and started admiring all the artwork there. I could overhear what sounded like an argument. I didn't give it much thought, minding my own business, but it started to get more intense. It didn't take long to realize it had escalated further than it should have. Everything spun out of control from there. I see. We should go over those details as well. Well, we're not. We're going to go right into personal questions. That's not what I want to do. I'm sorry I keep cutting out. Hang on. Oh, my nose. Alright. I hate talking about myself. We really shouldn't. Well, too bad. Who are you? Oh, you don't care about that, Detective. I'm just a little mouse. Nothing special. And like I said, also super innocent. I'm sure you are. So you wouldn't mind if I searched your backpack, for instance? Why would you need to do that? I haven't stolen anything and put it in my backpack, if that's what you think. I'm just kidding again. Why did you come to the museum today? I came for a date, okay? And they stood me up. Is that what you want me to say? Don't you know how hard it is these days with the apps and the mixers and the socializing and the being attractive? Not to mention the texting, the flirting, and the leaving the house. Oh, don't get me started on having to go outside. Oh, poor guy. It's dreadful, Detective. It's terrible. Oh, man. This guy is so funny. The only silver lining is that you can find places like this that are free to get stood up. Imagine having to pay for that type of embarrassment. Wait. Actually, never mind. My apologies. I'm sure there's another topic we can discuss instead. Wait a minute. You can't come into the museum for free. Isn't there an admission fee? I'm pretty sure the curator said something like that. So did he sneak in? Okay, Detective, if you say so. Alright, so what do you do? As in, what do you do for work? How do you make a living? I don't really make a living. Heh. I'm kinda unmaking a living, getting further and further in debt. Oh, you're an actual student. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see you. Couldn't you tell from my distinct lack of sleep? I am a student. Oh, I see. What are you studying? game design for the creativity of it, you know? And obviously, the money. Hang on. That's actually really funny to say, because as a creator myself, not just YouTube videos, but, you know, a book, and I too wish to get into game design. This statement immediately contradicts itself, and it's a formula of crashing out. Because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of indie games out there. There's a lot of indie games out there that will probably never be played. You know? And I'm not gonna say anything based on their quality or anything like that. It's not just game design, it's everything. Right? The indie crowd for choose your chosen medium, it's all rough. It's all rough. Even like making like videos on the internet. So, you know, people can laugh at it or something like that. So, if you, especially game design is hard, dude. Game design is really hard. I tried it. I don't even know why I want to try it again. But, yeah. You gotta go in there for the creativity of it. Going in for the money, that's not gonna work out. There's no denying that the tech industry is booming, but it's just gotta keep growing and growing. Line go up. Ha! Yeah, sure. So when you have PC parts that are like $500 a piece. Yeah, it's booming, alright. Actually, 500 is cheap. I've seen some PC parts, and they're way more than 500. Some of these more advanced parts, and look, these things go out of line or out of date really fast. That's the issue with the tech industry, is that it's so fast to replace itself and consume that there's a point that only like a certain clientele would be able to afford like the cream of the crop. But then again, you have to just think about realistically, what are you using the tech for? And the gaming industry doesn't make it easier. They keep making these games that it feels like you need the latest parts to be able to even play it. Just playing it. It doesn't even have to look good. You just have to play it. It's frustrating. Stability? Look no further. Problematic behavior and business practice? Not here. I think this guy's delusional. Literally nothing to complain about. Not a thing at all. Actually, why don't we talk about something else? Okay, so he can't give anything. Alright, let's talk to the bunny here. The guide. Greetings, detective. Boy, I'm glad you're here. Glad to be here. Although, not necessarily under these circumstances. Happy to help nonetheless. Unfortunately, I don't think I am going to be much help. I'm a bit of an anxious rabbit, you see. Oh, that's okay. We can work through it slowly, with whatever information we have. Oh, that's quite a relief. I know a lot about being a guide, but I'm afraid I just don't hold up under pressure. It is what it is, right? Of course. I'll need to ask a lot of questions. I can't leave any stone unturned, but let me know if it becomes too much. That sounds like a great plan, detective. Great. Let's get to it. Alright, so, what happened? Honestly, it all felt very sudden. I don't really remember what happened. After everything had sort of resolved, or calmed down, the curator said someone had shot a gun in the museum. It seems like a pretty difficult detail to miss, with how loud it would be against all these marble walls. Yeah, the noise. I think that's what sent me into shock. The next thing I remember was the curator's voice breaking through this haze. They were trying to get me to do my breathing exercises, and I was responsive enough. They left to call the police. Oh, interesting. But I kept thinking that if the curator hadn't prioritized me, maybe the diamond wouldn't have been stolen. You shouldn't feel guilty. It's natural the curator would be concerned for you, especially over some priceless rock. I'm sorry, hang on. I jolted because my phone just straight up, like, rocked my ears. I got like 3 notifications all at the same time. That hurt. Oh. Okay. Going on. A rock that, as far as we know, is still around here somewhere. And I'll find it. I guess you're right. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about something else. So, what were you doing? Before everything started to unravel, I was going about a normal day's business. More specifically, I was answering questions and offering tours to the various guests, but with varying success. That's not totally weird or anything, but the critic was the first to really engage at all. Oh, I'm sorry. He had some questions about a sculpture, but then he started questioning my qualifications. Yeah, see, that's just it. Any particular reason for the change in topic? Maybe it was a distraction. We could overhear the old-timer shouting upstairs, but eventually he went upstairs to check on him anyways. I figured it would diffuse itself and they'd come back down, so I went into antiquities, hoping I could escort them out for causing trouble. That didn't go as planned, unfortunately. I could see that. How about we discuss what happened next? Alright, well, personal questions. Who are you? Gosh, I don't tend to talk about myself much. After a few years, I'm still the museum's newest employee, and I've been into art history for a long time. Interesting. And how do you spend your free time? Oh, nothing super exciting. I have a sweet tooth, so I bake a bunch. Enjoy a good period drama. I read when I can. What else? And considering your line of work, you never pursued the arts? Well, gosh, no. I mean, did I try watercolor once or twice? Yeah, but it was... bad. Bad. Don't get me started on the chalkers and oil pastels I have sitting in my closet. A bit of an impulse. Obviously, I still study art a lot, but no, never really felt like making much. It's definitely not for everyone, including myself. Should we change the topic then? One second. The thing is that I've been working so hard on my voice and like my nose just like it's messing it all up. Ugh. All right. What did you do before? Just the most soul-draining corporate office work. I went to school for business, whatever that means. In retrospect, it felt like a bit of a scam. It's not like I was passionate about any of it, but it was safe. Or, so they said. That's probably a That's probably like a conversation point. But maybe not for me. Although I do see that there is a bit of like a similar sentiment that I have seen around. Are you passionate about what you do now? This is a very funny game. Yeah, it is. It is. It is a very funny game. I like point and clicks because the characters are almost always the favorite part about it. Absolutely. I wouldn't change a thing. At least, no major thing, right? Sure, there are bigger museums and better pay, but I used to think about that kind of thing way too much. I like the people here. I trust them, and they appreciate me. I get to inspire people's passions. Can't ask for more than that, I suppose. You know, the guide should probably talk to the student. I think he'll learn a few things. I'm the current leader of education and guest relations here at the museum. If visitors have questions, or they want a tour, I'm their buddy. Aside from that, I'm also the youngest member of the team, so I try to manage our marketing and outreach. The curator and the guard don't really understand social media, you know. Anyways though, that's my least favorite part of the job. The internet can be a cruel place. No kidding. I don't envy you in the least. Folks make fair points, like about our exhibits, but they don't really understand how any of it works. They don't like that we keep art from cultures that aren't ours, and I don't disagree with them. But lots of people might never expose those other cultures if we didn't. I don't know. It's complicated. Huh. I don't know. That is a thought to have, isn't it? I'm sorry for the gross sounds. Anyway. I don't know. I think that maybe there is a point to the second statement. But I'm also one to say that the peoples of these artifacts should be able to hang on to their own things. But I can see what the other side could be true as well. I don't know. That's something that's too smart for me. I'm just moving on. Most of the world is these days. Why don't we discuss another point? Whoops. Okay, so I think we've finished talking to the bunny. What's with the soulless eyes? Jesus, dude. Yeah, you heard that. I tried to get my mic off. Anyway. Greetings. Hello, I'm the detective tending to this case. I am aware of this. You're from Feline Forensics. Yes, I am. Good, you're familiar. Do you mind? You may. Ask me a few questions, that is. First of all, how do you know about me? Was it the tie? I tried to go with something more neutral, professional, insightful, even. Maybe that's why. Half it, but it's okay. It happens to all of us. Thanks. I try really hard, man. Like I said, I feel cursed every time I try and start one of these streams. Something happens, I don't know. And today's chaos is, uh, I can't smell out of half of my nose. Yay! And maybe it's my suit. The shoulders are very padded. Is it the suit? Too private eye? It was not the tie, detective. So... It was the suit. It was also not the suit. I'm just aware of you, generally speaking. Good marketing, perhaps. And besides, I simply prefer to be aware. An artist must observe the world. I hope that proves useful. Let's begin. Okay, so regular formula. What happened? I'll begin with the argument. I was nearby and did not want to get involved. By the time I made it to the lower courtyard, I heard the gunshot. Naturally, I attempted to make my way out of the museum entirely, but the guard came hastily through the room and bumped into me. I eventually got through, made my way to the foyer. Unfortunately, the door was already locked down. I imagine it was a result of the alarm being tripped. The museum has a sophisticated security system, it seems. And there wasn't anyone else around. Initially, no. When the tourist arrived from behind me, I told him we were stuck. Even when the curator came back, they refused to open the door. The tourist passionately opposed their decision, but eventually stood down. We waited in our respective exhibits until you arrived. Thank you for the detailed recount. So, what were you doing? I hate to break it to you, but my prior behavior has little impact on the case. I was just wandering around the various exhibits, observing. Specifically, I was counting the bones on those hanging skeletons from the natural history exhibit's balcony. Then again, I did spend some time on the courtyard balcony as well, mesmerized by the pendulum's colorful sway. Considering my proximity to the fine art gallery, I overheard the argument as it began, and I departed the upper floor. I've got that all written down, so thank you. This tree frog is like the easiest person to question ever. Just tells you as it is, man. About all the paint. I'm sure you're aware, but why are you so covered in it? This is my favorite coat. Are you suggesting that just because I got some paint on it, that suddenly means it can no longer be a coat? Well, geez, no need to get defensive. Jeez. It was a picked cold today. I needed to wear a coat. I'm not warm-blooded, detective. Do you want me to be cold? I didn't say that, no. Besides, it makes the coat more unique. No one in the whole world has this coat but me. I could see the allure in something like that. Would you say you strive to stand out? I think most people do, myself included, and yet I frequently feel invisible, as if people just don't see me, even if I'm standing right there. Aw, man. Hang on. It makes one feel quite lonely, to say the least. Forgotten. My apologies. I believe I've strayed from your inquiry. Don't worry about it. Not at all. Shall we discuss another topic? About the guard. When I collected his witness testimony, he neglected to mention anything about bumping into you in the courtyard. That does not surprise me, detective. Don't you remember what I said before? Even with all this paint, people just don't see me. You did say that, huh? I suppose I didn't quite grasp the severity of it. That's not uncommon either, I assure you. If you have any doubts about my honesty in this situation, I can present my perspective in greater detail. I don't think that'll be necessary. Your testimony is entirely plausible, especially considering the frantic nature of tonight's events. I think I'll move on to some other inquiries for now. Who are you? I regret to inform you, Detective. Who I am is not important. I am unimportant. Oh no. In the grand scheme of things, as it pertains to the situation around us, those details will not bring you any closer to case closed. He's a philosopher, Jesus. Then why don't you humor me? As if I were asking as a stranger, not the detective. I'm a washed-up failure of a creative amphibian. Well, shit, that would sound fast. As soon as I had hands, my parents couldn't keep enough paper in the house. I'd hoard every marker and paint I could find. Clay was my best friend. My imagination was insatiable, so I didn't have time for anyone or anything else. That doesn't sound like a failure to me. Insatiable may beget experience, but it does not equate to talent. Is that a sufficient answer, Detective? Indeed. I hope you don't mind answering some other questions. Poor dude. You know, this guy, the rabbit, and the student all need to have like a conversation. They could really learn off of each other. I will provide answers, Detective. What do you do? Do I have to ask him that? He's told us like a ton of times. Okay, let's go. Since my art career became an artifact of the past, I found myself in several professions. Yuck. Nowadays, I work under a contract agency. They have me doing temporary work placements. Many placements are undesirable, unfortunately, but it pays the bills, and I can keep a fair bit of time to myself. Do you still create art in that time? Yes. I don't believe I could ever truly give it up, but inspiration strikes less frequently. That's why I've decided to come to the museum today. Oh no, that's the best part. You're about to hit something. Hang on. This frog is about to have like the biggest eureka moment in existence. And did you find something inspiring? I believe I have, but time will tell. The paint must dry, as they say. They do say that, don't they? On to the next question then. Okay, so we've expired the artist's conversations. So I believe there's some more people upstairs. Oh man, I don't want to talk to either of these guys. Oh. Oh man. I'm going with the suit. Better a devil you know, right? I say, what manner of drab of fashion is approaching me? Oh no. Well, you know what? Seeing him, we kind of expected this, like I said. I'm the detective sent to investigate this series of unfortunate incidents. Heavens, you should speak to your department about acquiring better uniforms. This is not a uniform. It's just one of my suits. Are you to imply that these are your actual clothes that you purchased with money willingly? I would appreciate if we could get to the questioning now, please. Oh, relax. I'm a bit of a critic, but I'll do my best not to get in your way. I'll likely take a few jabs at you, though. How can I not? With those shoulder pads. What? Oh, but no, seriously, I'm your near side here. Don't worry about it. You know, let's just get started. What happened? There isn't much for me to say on a topic, but I suppose it began with the old-timer's arguments upstairs. It sounded like he was in the fine arts gallery. I started moving that way, but when I was just about there, I heard a blunt slam. I had hoped that the argument didn't turn violent, but I was quickly losing faith in that theory. Before I knew it, there was that wretched bang. A gunshot, with glass shattering not long after. I was concerned for the well-being of the old-timer, so I continued outwards towards the balcony after him, but then the brawl had concluded. The old-timer was clearly worn out. He was breathing heavily, and had a couple scrapes, but he seemed okay. I shoved him back into the fine arts gallery, and tried to ignore the rest of the cacophony below. It calmed down soon after, and now you're here. Yes, here I am. Why don't we continue that investigation, shall we? What were you doing? As you do in a museum. I was taking my jolly good time looking over the many exhibits alongside the old-timer. When we made our way into the sculpture gallery, I decided to strike up a conversation with the guide. Of course, I can't resist an expert discussion. The old-timer has far less patience for that sort of gallivanting, so he took off upstairs. Perhaps I shouldn't have let him go off on his own. I don't know what it was that they argued about, but it must have struck a nerve. I think that's when our evening started to go south. Is that so? I've got more questions then. Hey. Alright. Who are you? I'm a collector. I'm a connoisseur. Some would call me a cultural innovator. Oh god, he's a scam artist. But that title is just far too garish, even if it is entirely true. And this is what brought you to the museum today. There are wonderful pieces here that I would love to call my own, but no, I'm not making any purchases. My accountant wouldn't like that very much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but exhibits at a museum aren't usually for sale. Ha! Spoken like a true member of the middle class. Everything is for sale when you have enough money. Like I said, better a devil you know. So here we are talking to this rich fuck. Am I to assume this applies to you? I've written for the most prestigious organizations. These scales have rubbed against the best of them. You should consider yourself blessed. I'm not more offended that you would even ask who I am. Then why don't I ask a different question then? Do I have to ask? Yeah, okay. A traditional family? No. But I have someone close to me, if that's what you mean. Would you not consider them family? I would. But that partnership was founded in a different time, and unfortunately there are still many similarities between now and then. Besides, when you become larger than yourself, and people believe you're only how they sculpted you, there's a lot to lose if you betray their perception. If I'm to interpret your meaning, isn't the artistic industry quite progressive? For an artist at his easel, yes. For a writer at her typewriter, yes. For a musician with their instrument, yes. But for any of them with a need to live, to eat, to succeed, they must be ruled by money. And the people with money, money far above even my station, they do not understand the meaning of progress. So no, I suppose I don't have much family. Most of us can't afford to. I'm sorry to hear that. Whatever he says, man. Why did you decide to visit today? Oh, the curator practically begged me to come and write about it on one of my columns. I visited before, many years ago, and the article I wrote back then was an unbelievable success. Although, considering the terrible fate before us, I know that anything I write will speak highly enough. You mean the murder turned museum heist? Is that it? Ha! No, detective. I'm talking about the irrelevancy. And worse yet, the curator has resorted to committing the cardinal sin. The display of counterfeit art is just painful. What do you mean? That would be quite the accusation. They are duplicates, simple as that. How else could one acquire such a diverse catalog? In fact, I've already noticed two, and well, when there's two, there must be a third. That's just proper writing, detective. Well, let's just carry on then, yes? Alright, so we're hearing the same story multiple times, but now we heard that the old-timer was, part of the scuffle. Hello? Yes, hello. I'm the... Yeah, I know who you are. Fantastic. Let's get started. Then I'll finally get to go home. Standing on these floors is killer for an old-timer like me. There's a bench just over there, if you... I don't need a seat. You think I need some handout from you? Do you know who I am? I didn't mean to offend, I just... Look, detective, get to the interrogation, or whatever you're after, do so I can get out of here. Fine, yes. A wonderful idea. Let's just do that. How much longer is this gonna take? Yeah, get on with it. Okay. Hey, Spade, welcome to the stream. What's up? We are playing Feline Forensics today. It's going to be a little longer because the dialogue is kind of stretching itself, but, yeah, we're interviewing everyone. What happened? Of course, I remember like it was yesterday. Because it was today. In fact, it was about an hour ago. How could I forget that? I'm old, but I ain't that old. That punk wanted to yank my tail. When I brought it back, he must have got scared. Pulled a gun on me. Always knew I had some bites left, and we got into a real scuffle. Took us out into the courtyard balcony. He threw me into a wall. I swung back at him. He tried to take me out, but his aim was bad. Missed by a mile. Must have been new to it, too. The kickback gave me a chance to disarm him, and then he ran off. That's okay, it's fun too. Well, I'm glad it's fun. I try. Oh, hang on. Oh man, my nose. Alright. The critic came to check on me soon after. I told him I was fine, unscathed in fact. Then the alarm went off. But I didn't have anything to do with that. Well, I'm glad you're alright. Let's discuss something else. How much longer is this gonna take? What were you doing? Am I outspoken, detective? Are you answering my question with a question? The answer is no. I am resolute, firm in my opinions, because I know they're correct. Oh no. This is gonna be hard. I still have yet to see how this answers. There I was, with the critic. We were looking over the various pieces in the sculpture gallery. The critic wanted to discuss with the guide, so I let them be, made my way upstairs into fine art. That's when I saw him. All these disgraceful misuses of canvas, and the punk that followed soon after, looking for a fight. He must have seen me wrinkle my nose at some painting, and well, he didn't know what tree he was barking up. And what tree was that? Ah, crap. An old wizened willow, detective. One that weeps for the way things used to be. Interesting, to say the least. I believe I have some more questions then. Who are you? Ah, you really have to ask, huh? Tells me everything I need to know about you, detective. Well, in this case, I am the one who needs to know. So why don't you answer the question? I'm a retiree of the art world, from back when folks respected the craft. Oh man. I saw success beyond my wildest dreams. I was in galleries, exhibitions, auctions for rates higher than you or your kittens would see in an entire lifetime. Point is, I was at the top, and I wasn't making way for nobody. You had to be cutthroats back then. Don't even get me started on all this crowdfunding. Sir, I don't think... for what reason did you step down from such a high pedestal? Couldn't keep up. Is that what you want to hear? My hand started going first, and then, well... I quit when I was ahead. I see. Well, then let's change the topic. What do you do? What kind of question is that? Are you one of them half-rated gumshoes, detective? That's an offense to... In my advanced age, I don't do much of anything. And with my advanced wealth, I don't have to. This guy's wild. Hang on, I'm trying to fix my headphones. That's what it means to be retired. Not that you would know. I might do some consulting from time to time, or attend an event, but all that chasing tail, that's for the young pups. After everything I've given to the art world, I keep on giving. What do you think about that, huh? I'll tell you what I think. Why don't you find a crucifix and pin yourself to it? Jeez. Good for you. You wouldn't get it. So maybe start asking some questions with answers you can actually use. Oh, what a fantastic idea. Let's just do that. About the museum. What about it? Despite a few amateur missteps, it's a respectable institution. And what would you consider a misstep? Don't get me started on how much modern garbage they have on display these days. I understand arts can't entirely be without business, but there are lines you just don't cross. And betraying the greats by hanging the most prestigious pieces next to these finger painters, that's crossing the line. Now, hang on. Who would the greats be if they didn't step on a couple toes? I'm just saying. Did you ever have any of your pieces on display here in the museum? That's a leading question, detective. Don't believe for a second I don't see what you're trying to do. If you must know, even at my peak, no, the curator refused to exhibit any of my works. I had plenty of other exhibitions, and we've always been on good terms. I don't hold it against them. So don't leave this conversation thinking I've got some sort of vendetta. That would be a ridiculous notion, wouldn't it? Okay, so is there someone else to talk to? Hang on, I'm gonna run around for a second. So as we know, everyone sort of has the same kind of story. They're just little blips here and there. Normally, they're of the guard. Apparently, some of the people have a different view of what the guard was doing. And I've also noted that the alarm, according to the curator and some of the other people around here, that it acts differently. Alright, what? Game? What the fuck? What's this about? No sense in leaving any stone unturned. Or shrub, in this case. Just gotta reach a paw and rustle some leaves. Oh? What's this? Something's perched between these branches. It's cold, and it feels like... metal? Could it be what I think it is? Yes! It's the casing that matched the tip from earlier. I'll have to update the evidence records, now that I have both pieces of this bullet. However, the question remains, where is the weapon? Ooh, exciting! Let's go check it out. Oh no, that's the wrong button. There's too many buttons in this game. I can't click it. Hang on. Alright. Oh, it's the victim's belongings. I didn't think we got them. Yeah, let's look at them. Haha. Hold tab down to turn. That's what I'm doing. Tales of the Dark and Desperate. A true crime podcast. Oh, maybe they were a fan. Wait, look. Admission 2, $25. Processing fee $4.50. Service fee $3.79. Administration fee $10.99. Subtotal $64.28. Sales tax 8%. $5.14. Total $69.42. Does this saying that this person paid for 2 admissions? Is that what I'm reading right? Ah, of course. I knew there was something else here. This receipt. Why would he have paid it twice? As far as I'm aware, he didn't come in with anyone, right? Since I can't question him directly, I'll have to ask around some more. Ooh. As you'd expect, I've never really been a fan of water. But if my suspicions are correct, I need to do what must be done. Paw into the fountain, detective. Here goes nothing. Yes? Yeah, I thought so. Oh dear, it's cold and very wet. My fur is going to be uncomfortable for the rest of the evening. There it is, the murder weapon. A smoking, dripping gun. It was likely fired during the brawl upstairs and dropped soon after. I'll have to look it over to gather more information. I just started questioning the various suspects about it too. Ooh. Oh Jesus, look at this thing. Alright, so what are we looking for? Look down the barrel like a retard. Hey, anything in there? Or hang on, I'm not getting it. There's gotta be someone with a gun. Because normally there'd be like a clue or something, right? I'm like spamming the space bar. Here doesn't seem to be anything unnatural about it. It's a goofy looking gun. Yeah, it still says there's something about it. So I'm missing something, I just don't know what. Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe something for later? Yeah, look. I should begin this line of questioning with a closer examination and find what that effort may yield. I don't get it. And the thing is not pulsing, so I don't know if I'm close to something or not. Oh wait. Ooh, there is something. The safety? Oh, that's the release. It's empty. Of course. I knew there was something else here. Thankfully, it's not still loaded. It won't be doing any harm anytime soon. Although, I can't gather much more from this. I'm not a weapons expert. What are the chances someone here would be able to tell me more? Ooh. Alright, so let's take care of these. What is this? Z. Wait, there's too many buttons to push. Give me a second. Alright. However, when a gunshot was heard, he stormed off into and through the courtyard towards the shocking sound. No, because... And he went somewhere else. All these... Hang on, where's the podcaster? Oh no! Maybe the artist. I see. That makes sense. The guard didn't move straight through the courtyard. He bumped into the artist on the way. While that might seem minor, the most minor details could turn an entire case upside down. Alright. He arrived at the exhibit at the same time as the podcaster, who, upon questioning, didn't seem to know much about what had happened. No, because according to the podcaster was already there. I could give him the benefit of the doubt, but by the podcaster's account, this just doesn't line up. I can't think of an obvious reason he would lie, but it would be best if I asked him directly. He entered the museum alone and began touring the various exhibits, starting in the natural history exhibit. He didn't come in alone. Where's the receipt? As far as I can tell, he did enter alone, but with one extra detail. He paid enough admission for 2. Anyone would assume that this is just an act of kindness, but can we claim that for certain? I've got a dumb idea. Is this the mouse's date? Nah, it couldn't be, right? That's too dumb. Nah, no way. Alright, C. Alright, let's try and put this together. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, okay. Earlier tonight, the person action in the locale with the person who surprisingly had a object. So let's go backwards. Let's go... Where are objects? Maybe this is describing the gun. Maybe? Let's find out. It doesn't tell me I'm wrong. That's scary. Well, let's not... Alright. They action in the locale and eventually had the person action from the locale. Hang on. Alright, so we can solve this one. Amidst the chaos, someone... Where? Okay, actions. Where's actions? Stole the gemstone from the... Can I say natural history exhibit? Nice. Alright, so we got that down. Bitter. Who is bitter? Well, the old timer sounded kind of bitter, so we're going to put him there. We're going to put the critic over here. Eccentric. I would say the artist is eccentric. Is that wrong? It doesn't tell me, and I don't like that. Okay, so let's do this. They fought. Where is this? In the... Was it the fine art? No, that's not right. Too bad it doesn't say second floor. I'll go with balcony. And eventually the person... Yeah. The punk... fell... from the... Yeah, is it still natural history but was upstairs? I think so. Natural history... Oh yeah, something's up with that. Yeah, it's this one. Oh yeah, they fought in the museum. No? Can't be the courtyard. Oh! I guess that makes sense because it's upstairs, so I guess they're assuming that it's in the same area. So above us is the courtyard. Hang on. So this is definitely about the gun. I want to say the punk had the gun, but that doesn't make quite sense. Although by the old-timer's testimony, that's what happened. So we're going to go with that logic for now. Huh, wait a minute. Maybe that's not right. argued in the fine art courtyard. Hang on. Okay, process of elimination. Let's see if one of these are wrong. Was it gun? Oh man. There we are. I found the word. So let's go over what we got right now. Earlier tonight, the old-timer argued in the fine art exhibit with the punk, who surprisingly had a gun. They fought in the courtyard, and eventually the punk fell from the Natural History Museum balcony. Amidst the chaos, someone stole the gemstone from the Natural History exhibit. Alright, led by the... We're gonna go curator. The... museum. Where is that here? Museum staff also included the loyal guard. And a knowledgeable guide. Okay. Suspects and witnesses included the eccentric. I must not know what eccentric means. I want to say the artist. Bitter old-timer. As well as a distinguished... Hang on. Where is the critic? It doesn't say. Maybe it's the podcaster. The podcaster could be a kind of eccentric. Oh no, I must not have the word for this. Alright. They also included the anxious... Oh, the student was kind of anxious. The jolly tourists. And the reserved... Hang on, am I missing someone? I'm thinking, hang on. Anxious student, jolly tourist, reserved... Am I missing someone? Is that what's going on? Hang on, I'm just start flooding it out. Okay, these are all the same thing. Got you. So we're going to try and fill them all out. And where is the tourist and reserved? I want to say the Hang on, I want to say the artist is the reserved one, because I don't think the podcaster is reserved. Yeah, so let's flip them. Gotcha. Aha! I knew I was onto something. I've got the basic details of this case all sorted out and met every suspect. And now it's time to really get to work. Alright. So let's go over what we got. Let's go back one. Alright, so. Earlier tonight, the old-timer argued in the fine art exhibit with the punk, who surprisingly had a gun. They fought in the courtyard, and eventually the punk fell from the natural history balcony. Amidst the chaos, someone stole the gemstone from the natural history exhibit. Led by the curator and the museum staff also included the loyal guard and the knowledgeable guide. Suspects and witnesses included the eccentric podcaster, the bitter old-timer, as well as the distinguished critic. They also included the anxious student, the jolly tourist, and the reserved artist. Okay, so we are going to solve the rest of this next time. Okay, so things are getting interesting. Sure, we have to re-talk to the guard, the curator, find someone who's knowledgeable about firearms, which I suspect someone, but we'll find out. And see exactly how exactly the scuffle went about. Because according to the old-timer, the punk had the gun. But it's the punk that is dead. And the Moai head got shot. So there's an issue. So, if I'm going to guess right about now, I'm going to say, at some point, hang on. At some point, perhaps the punk had lost the gun. And that's what led to their demise. And then they fell over. Now, 3 shots were fired. There's 1 in the Moai head and 2 in the guy. But that's just speculating. And it's gonna have to wait until next Monday so we can figure out. Okay, so this was fun, and I'm really sorry I sound so terrible. My nose is just, it's killing me, and I don't know why. I was thinking about taking a break today too, and I just decided I'd just go with it. But anyway, here we are. We did it. We're fine. And we are going to end the stream today. So I'm going to give my send-off, my normal advertisement, and I'll just see everyone tomorrow. So, here it goes. Hey, I'm Red, the Grey Fox. I stream here on YouTube, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out. It helps me get seen by the algorithm gods. If you wish to support me more directly, you can go to the description, find the links there, and you can get yourself a copy of The Eye of Destiny. Created with no AI, no outside help, just put together by the crazy, fluffy mind that you're seeing on the screen now. You can get yourself an ebook, or there's 2 separate links down there so you can order yourselves a print-on-demand physical. Sooner or later, I'm gonna get a call and be like, "Hey, we want to put your book on the shelves." Someday, we could dream, right? Thinking about getting an audiobook guy on it too. Anyway, tomorrow we are going to play Septerra Core. Tonight I have to play it so I can do some grinding. So the tomorrow's stream will go about smoothly, because you don't want to see me dying a bunch. But I'm gonna try. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Those of you that stuck around and participated in the stream. Those of you that stuck around and lurked, I see you too. And those of you that even came by, stuck your head and dipped your toes into water, decided it was too hot, and left. I hope you all have a good night, or a good morning, wherever you are.